I don't know when you'll be watching this. If you happen to be watching it live, we are 1 hour away from the biggest game that the IU football team has faced in a long, long time. IU has had a great year so far, 10-0, facing the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, they would be adjacent states, right? And IU's making a great run this year. Ohio State is always pretty strong. And so we're an hour away from that battle between those two teams. That has nothing to do with what I'm about to teach from Matthew 5 today, but my sentiment is where I'm wearing it today. Both Jerusalem, the holy city, the people of Israel, and IU. Now, Jesus said to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you and abuse you, so that you may be developed into the image of the living God. Now, we use a phrase today, I hear it, and it's kind of worn out. I want to be more like Jesus. Clergy use it all the time. Let's be more like Jesus. The sense of that, the reason I say it's worn out, is because it is not this passage. It is not that trying to be more like Jesus is not the whole concept of development. Because Jesus went on to say he causes the sun to shine on the just and the unjust, and he causes it to rain upon the righteous and the unrighteous. And if you only do good to those who do good to you first, what good is that? If you just say hello to people who say hello to you first, what good is that? And he caps it off with this great idea. Be perfect, teleos, be perfect as my Father in heaven is perfect, teleos. The punchline is perfect, teleos, means to develop or be developing. Be developing as my Father in heaven is developed. Eternity, the lessons of eternity, the lessons we need to be functional in eternity. And we don't think about eternity near as often as we should. Eyes not seen, ears not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man that which God's prepared in eternity. We don't think about eternity near enough. But know this, that what God is planning for us in eternity, he is starting to educate us in the here and now. That everything I face, all of my circumstances, no matter be it small, medium-sized, or large, whether they be relational, whether they be circumstantial, whether they be situational, whatever it is, whatever I face, God is using that. Whether it seems like the sun's shining on me and it's a good day, or it's raining on me and it's a bad day. Whether I'm on the mountain peak or in the valley with my emotions today, my mindset today, my attitude today, the highs and lows, the roller coaster ride of living. Whether what you said to me I took well, or what you said to me I took wrong, or what you said to me you said well and I took wrong, or whether what you said to me you said bad and I took well. Whatever it is, whatever we face, God is working to develop us in it. That's the whole concept of what Jesus is saying that we ought to love our enemies and pray for those, intercede for those who have abused me personally. Pray for those who have attacked me personally. And I don't mean a condescending prayer like, I'll be praying for them. We say that tongue in cheek, I'll pray for you. Well, I'll be praying for you, brother. All that. Are you really? You say you're going to pray for them, but you're saying it tongue in cheek and mockingly. We need to snap out of that, because what we end up with, if we mock what the development God's doing in our lives, if we mock it, we end up with that same old platitude. I'm just trying to be more like Jesus. Just trying to be more like Jesus. That's impossible. Jesus called us to follow him, follow his teachings. He told us that if we allow him to use our circumstances, our relationships, the issues of our life, allow him to develop us internally through our surrender of our control. As long as you're in control, as long as you're unsurrendered, as long as you're holding on to something, God is not developing you, because he can't. Because if you're holding on, holding back, whether it's unforgiveness or resentment or disagreement rather than agreement, whatever it is you're holding on, it's holding you back from the full and total development of what God wants to do in your life, which, by the way, is the mirror reflection of the living God. I mean, God in Genesis 1, when God was hovering over the deep and hatching this plan that you and I call our lives, God was thinking about the good versus the evil, the difficulty versus the easy. What we need to do, instead of talking about, I'm just trying to be more like Jesus, instead of every day we need to face each day with the idea of bring, period, it, period, on, exclamation point. Bring it on. Because whatever happens in my day, God is going to use it to develop me. Whatever relational difficulty, whatever situation, whatever financial issue, God is using it to develop me to go deeper in my life. And that is the essence of how he's building us to that place where we're a mirror reflection of the living God. We're not gods. No, we'll never be God. He's God. But he created us in his image. And by using the circumstances and situations, his plan is, and this is because of the cross of Christ, because of the cross of Christ, he can use everything. Nothing is wasted. God's in control. Everything that happens is not some sort of happenstance. Everything that happens in our lives is a chance for us to surrender ourselves into his control. So here's my summation. Number one, the purpose of our existence is to develop. Number two, development always comes at a cost. There's a price to be paid for development. It's supposed to be costly. It's supposed to hurt a little. It's supposed to feel like I'm paying a price for it. But number three, this is the most important part. The value in the cost for development is a priceless treasure. Because what God is preparing for us, for you and me, in eternity, he's preparing us for now. In life, we learn to trust God so that in eternity, God can trust me. God bless.